All right, welcome back. We're going to move on now to Christy's favorite storyline of the week. Christy, if you want to bring it up, go right ahead.
Yeah. As you know, my favorite thing to see is Elizabeth and her kids.
Yes.
We've been able to see Jake a little bit more often lately, and
Yeah.
we found out that the reason Jake was taking his time to meet up with his family, or rather, I should say, Elizabeth and Finn. I don't want to call Finn family yet. Let's not go there. Was that Jake is dating Charlotte at Cassadine, so that's stirring some feathers. I'm real excited though. I'm just excited to see Jake on screen. I don't really care if he's dating. He could be dating some random girl from school, but I really like that they kind of put Jake and Charlotte together. I thought that was interesting. Like I don't know if they're really like dating seriously, but I mean, how serious can you be at that age? Like, he's
Right.
what?
Exactly.
Is he? Are they aging him up to like 13 now or something?
I,
13, 14?
I believe so. At least that's the way it looks. Yeah, I would say about 13, 14-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the same character anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the natural evolution. And the original Charlotte is back. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so it's kind of works out. Although there was some kind of pushback as to why Jake would date the girl that was bullying his brother in elementary school. Um, but then she came to his aid when she actually got to know Aiden.
Well, maybe she's since apologized, and that's not obviously shown on screen. But I think they're just trying to put a pairing together for Jake that
Right.
is interesting. That'll create a little drama. So
And
I
wait
mean,
until Valentine finds out.
yeah, well, that'll be another thing. I think he's got his hands full with Anna right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I always like when they make interesting pairings like that anyway, because it creates it creates a little drama, and it creates like legendary like families to
Yeah.
intermix together. That's why I liked when Cam and Joss dated, because I was like, oh man, their mothers were going at it back in the day. So it's gonna be
Yep.
interesting to see that. So
Yep.
I always like that for those reasons.
Mhm.
So to see a Cassadine dating a Weber Spencer, like it's good. It's good story. I mean, I think it makes for good story. So
And it actually works out because I know there were a lot of people concerned because Lucky is Jake's father, but as we all know, Lucky only adopted Jake because Jake's real father is Jason. So there's no family relationship between Charlotte and Jake, because Charlotte being Lulu's daughter and Lulu and Lucky being brother and sister. So I mean, there's no family relation there. I know that was a big topic online as well.
really, people are really like y'all want to not have Jake be Jason's son. Y'all trying to rewrite history there. Come on, y'all. Come
Well, I
on.
think I think a lot of people forget that Jake is Jason's son.
Forget. I can't forget, but I'm a liaison fan. I'll never forget that night. Okay. A lot of people
Right.
like to call that the one night stand. I call it the night of passion. Um, but I that's a big deal to me that Jake is Jason's son and his first son.
Right.
So first biological son. So that's a big deal to me. Maybe not be a big deal to anybody else, but big deal to me, big deal to liaison fans, which hi, we still exist. We're still here.
Right.
So
And we never get to see Danny.
so yeah, we don't really get to see him. No. The thing is with Elizabeth's kids, which I've said plenty of times now, we usually get to see one of them at a time.
Yeah.
There's a rare occasion when it's all three of them on screen together.
Yeah.
But I like that we're seeing Jake more, and I hope they follow up on the storyline of
Yeah.
Jake dating a Cassadine. So, and Violet was very vocal as always because she
Mhm.
really likes the romances on the
Yeah.
show. Like any couple that's together, she's like, "Well, I have to know everything. I have to know
She
all
almost knew
about it."
Molly. She's almost the new Molly, and not to compare her to the new Molly character, but or the new Molly actor. But I mean, when Molly was younger, she was always super romantic. Um, I don't know if she was necessarily so nosy, but she was always super romantic.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I guess that's something they got in common. So I was glad Willow was able to like talk her down because she wanted to like go over there and like give start playing 20 questions with them, and I'm like, no.
I think Violet was the comic relief of this week in general. Just from the very beginning, when they walk into Kelly's and Violet's like, "You can't eat here; they might sabotage us." And just the interaction between Carly and Violet, and Carly saying, "Don't worry, we're only enemies on the softball field." Everybody, as my aunt Ruby would say, everybody's welcome at Kelly's. And Violet's like, "I'm going to keep my eye on you no matter what." So, and then just later in the week when her and when they're at Charlie's after the game, and Violet wants to follow Jake and Charlotte, and well, I want to find out all the information about the date. And I enjoy. I'm sorry, but that was just definitely the comic relief for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she is like a little comic relief, but just, I mean, it's fine. I don't find her that funny, but I find her a little more annoying than anything, just like I do with Molly. Like I find Molly equally annoying. Maxie, I found her annoying in the past. Just kind of my preference. Not my favorite character. Leo's my favorite kid character, like child actor,
Yep.
kid character, besides like Jake and Cam and Aiden, obviously. So yeah, she's that annoying little girl who just wants to know everything and put her nose in everybody's business. And I'm just like, girl, you're like 7 or something. Like, just chill. Like, get a coloring book out. Like, or a tablet. Now they give
Right.
kids
Yeah.
tablets these days and not coloring books. Kids
Yeah.
don't know the value of coloring books and crayons. They really don't. They
Well,
really don't. I'm glad I was born in the generation who was.
as someone who can never color inside the lines, I never liked coloring books myself. So
Yeah. Well, I was all into coloring books. I was all into My Little Pony coloring book, and I put glitter on it. It was like a whole thing for me. It was an enjoyable experience for me. But
I think at one point
I don't know.
I had a WWF coloring book when I was younger. So
Well, there you go. Makes sense. Um, yeah. Well, I don't even remember what like Elizabeth and like Finn talked about at the pub much, except that Liz was like obviously seeing like, oh wow, my son's really growing up,
yep.
and now he's like dating, and so I think she talked a little bit to Finn about that, but I tend to drown out scenes with Elizabeth and Finn because I don't care for Finn. So I know they talked and it was fine. But it is just kind of like I would rather see Elizabeth talk one on one with Jake eventually about his relationship
Yep.
with Charlotte and what's going on there. And I would like to have a discussion and him be like, well, mom, it's fine. Like we're
Yeah.
maybe he like tries to say, oh, we're just friends. We're not really dating.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like there should have been more of that with even Cam and Elizabeth. I mean, there were some discussions they had, but even though I liked when Cam eventually accepted Franco as his stepfather, and I liked the dynamic that Franco and Cam had, I didn't like that Cam only went to Franco for advice. Like I would have rather him go to his mother. And I know teenage boys, they don't want to go to their mother for a lot of things. I can understand that. But me being raised by a single mother myself, I know what it's like to be like, well, I can't ask my dad because I don't feel comfortable, or whatever the case may be. In his case, his dad has passed away. But so the next best thing would be a trusted male figure. Um, but then again, it's like your mother has always been there. And sometimes your mother can give you a better viewpoint, being the female viewpoint. So like I want to see those discussions, as even when even while Elizabeth is in different relationships, have her still be that single mother where the kids go to her for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice.
Because I cannot honestly see Finn fumbling through some kind of a birds and the bees type talk to
Please
Jake.
God, no. Please God, no. 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 I don't want that at all. That's so weird and
Like
awkward, and I think everybody would hate it.
I think like if that ever happened, like God forbid when Violet gets that age, I think it's gonna literally be Finn talking clinical terms to her, and she won't know what the hell she's listening to.
Oh yeah. Well, Finn doesn't even want to think about it right now. I
Right,
think that's
exactly.
with him and Liz. Like she's like, oh, well, wait till Violet starts dating. He's like, no. I don't want to
But I know you're not fond of the pairing, but I did like the conversation that Finn and Liz had this week, because I see Finn as just by the book, straight down the line, no nonsense, not somebody who opens himself to having fun, but yet you see Liz saying, "Well, see what happens when you actually have fun a little bit." I like that because I see Finn as somebody who I feel like, and without being a doctor, I think he's probably, the character himself is probably somewhere on the autistic scale because of how the character is.
maybe.
Just no nonsense, doesn't really pick up too much on sarcasm. Um, but I did like how Elizabeth pointed out and said, "See what happens when you have fun once in a while." And he actually smiled and laughed a little bit this week. As much as Michael Easton can with those pursed lips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that conversation this week. All right. Um, moving on. We'll go on to another segment. We still got quite a bit to go over. Actually, even looking at my notes, I don't have everything written down, but we've talked about a couple of different storylines even in this segment alone. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the next segment.